Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my AFC East predictions for the 2022 NFL season. The last 2 years I predicted every single game of the NFL season, and this year I'm going to continue that trend. So this is the first video of an 8-video series where I'll do each division predicting every single game, the final records, and ultimately I'll probably have a final video in which I have the whole spreadsheet up showing you everything. Some of these predictions are subject to change between now and the end of August. So until I make that final video, some of these predictions might be shifted a little bit, either if my opinion changes or once I get through all of the teams, because I've only finished about half of the teams so far for the predictions. So once I do the NFC, I might change some of my predictions for the AFC a little bit, but it generally will be pretty similar. There might just be tweaks here and there. But let's get right into it. First off, we have the New York Jets at 2-15. Yes, I have the Jets winning 2 games this season. Not much different from the previous couple of years. Although I do think they'll probably get 5 wins. My guess is that they'll be 5-12. But when I do these predictions, I don't predict upsets. I try and predict pretty much which team I think is better or which team I think will win the game. It's not trying to get a specific record. I'm not trying to get a specific anything. I'll sometimes pick upsets, but generally speaking, I'm trying to pick which team I think is going to win the game, depending on the situation, depending on where they are, depending on whatever. So I don't think the Jets will go 2-15, although I don't think that they'll get too many upsets looking at their schedule. They have the Ravens week 1. They have the Browns week 2. They have the Bengals week 3. They have the Steelers week 4, Dolphins, Packers, Broncos, Patriots, Bills, Patriots, Bears, Vikings, Bills, and then the last 4 are okay. But for the first 13 weeks of the season, for their first 13 games, I have 2 teams there that I'm predicting are going to get below 8 wins. 3 teams that are going to get below 10 wins. I think every other team there, except for maybe the Browns, maybe the Ravens, will most likely have 10 wins. Dolphins, Patriots, Bills twice, Broncos, Packers. The Bengals obviously were in the Super Bowl last year. The Ravens are going to be very strong. They have the whole AFC North, the whole NFC North, their whole own division, which is pretty tough, and the Broncos. I do have them beating Seattle, and I do have them beating the Bears. I think that the Bears are going to need a couple of years to figure out I think that their quarterback situation is still a question mark. Their team overall, their defense isn't getting any better, and their offense definitely isn't getting any better. So I think the Bears are going to be worse this year, and I think Seattle is going to arguably be the worst team in the league. I know I might not even predict them to win a single game. Their team is just in the dumpster. Their defense has been horrible the last few years. Russell Wilson's the only thing that's been keeping them afloat, and then they also got rid of Tyler Lockett, I believe. They're just all over the place. Chris Carson can never play more than 4 games in a season. So, I have the Jets at 2-15. Next, we have the Patriots at 10-7. I have the Patriots losing week 1 in Miami and splitting with Miami, losing in Miami, winning at home. I have them beating the Steelers week 2. I think that the Steelers and the Patriots have similar rosters, but the Steelers aren't going to be able to get it together by week 2 without Big Ben. A couple of years ago when Big Ben was injured, when Mason Rudolph was the quarterback, it took them a few weeks to get it going. They were having a bad start to the season, and then they finished 500. So I think the Patriots take advantage of that. The Ravens, I have them losing to the Ravens and the Packers. I think that the Ravens and Packers are both going to be worse than last year. The Ravens will be worse than, obviously, with Lamar, although they'll be better than they were without Lamar, with Brett Hundley. And then the Packers are going to obviously be worse than last year without Devontae Adams, but I still think the Patriots will most likely lose that game. I have us beating the Lions, which I think is a pretty fair prediction. The Cleveland game is a 50-50. But I think that Cleveland is one of the teams that we have a better chance of beating than, say, the Ravens or the Packers or the Bills. So I have us beating Cleveland. I think that this early in the season, they're still going to have their issues. Their quarterback situation is still screwed up. So I'm not expecting a whole lot from Cleveland, especially except even though their roster looks pretty good, I still think Cleveland will have their issues next year. I have us beating the Bears and the Jets, two of the worst teams in the league, and then the Colts, a loss to the Colts. We lost to the Colts last year towards the end of the season. Even when we needed to win in order to win the division, we just couldn't keep the pressure on Buffalo, and we lost critical games. I think that this will be a critical game for us to try and make a serious playoff run. We're going to be 5-3 at that point in the season, if I'm correct, and this will be a critical moment where we'll either be 6-3 or we'll be 5-4. And 6-3 is considerably better than 5-4. So I think that we'll lose that game unless Mac Jones has a really amazing game and proves himself as an upcoming potentially top 15, top 10 quarterback. I have us beating the Jets. I have us beating the Vikings because we basically own the Vikings. I have us losing to Buffalo both games. I originally had us beating Buffalo once, but after that playoff game, I'm not going to predict us to beat Buffalo until we can prove that we can do it when we throw the ball more than 3 times. I have us beating the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to take a downward turn this year based off of how they finished the season last year. That's what the Steelers did. They finished the season off poorly after starting 11-0. The Cardinals started 7-0 last year, and they finished, 5-6? 5-7 if you include the playoff game. So I think they'll take a downward turn. I think we will beat the Raiders. I don't believe in Derek Carr yet. That might be a poor decision by me, but I still need to see more from him. The Bengals, I think, will lose that game. I think we'll split with Miami winning in New England, and we will lose the last game of the season in Buffalo, which will eliminate all of our playoff chances. I think that we could have potentially made the playoffs, even though we have a lot of AFC losses, without losing to Buffalo, but I think that if we lose to Buffalo that last week and go 10-7, we're out of the playoffs. I have the Dolphins going 11-6. I was struggling to see if I wanted the Dolphins or the Patriots higher on this list. I think that the Dolphins have been a more consistent team the last couple of years. Last year, they finished the season on a very strong winning streak, and I think that they're going to take that momentum into the next year. I am concerned about Brian Flores no longer being the coach. I'm concerned about their defense. Their defense has been carrying them the last 2 years because although Tua has been okay, he hasn't been great. Their defense has been carrying them the last 2 seasons, and without Brian Flores, who was a defensive-minded coach based off of Bill Belichick and the way the Patriots play, I think that Miami either will take a step back or their offense will step up. I think it's a 50-50 chance that Tua takes advantage of Tyreek Hill or he doesn't, and it's either he takes full advantage of it and the offense is great, or it's not, and it'll all depend on that. I have them beating the Patriots. I have them beating the Ravens. I have them splitting with Buffalo. I have them losing to the Bengals, and then beating the Jets, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Lions, the Bears. Those games, I'm pretty confident about most of those games, except for the Ravens one and the Bills one. Obviously, the Bills ones can go either way, but and then the Ravens are Lamar can win any game. I have them losing to the Browns. I think the Cleveland, that's later on in the season than the Patriots game. The Patriots is week 6. This is week 10 or 11. So I think that that's a safer game for the Browns to be more comfortable with their team. I have them beating the Texans. I have them beating the 49ers, which could change later on. I don't know where I want to put the 49ers yet, but I have them beating them right now. I have them losing to the Chargers and having a really, really, really poor finish to the season. Wow, that's really bad. I have them going 10-2 and then finishing the season 11-6, losing to the Chargers, the Bills, the Packers, the Patriots, and winning to the Jets. That's a tough last 5 games. 49ers, Chargers, Bills, Packers, Patriots. That's really bad. Last but certainly not least, we have the Buffalo Bills. I have the Bills going 15-2. Obviously, similar to the Jets, I don't think they'll go 15-2. I think they'll probably go 13-4. But I'm picking the games. I'm not picking the record. So I have them losing to the Rams week 1. I think the Rams are going to start off the season strong after the Super Bowl win. They've only added talent. They're just going to get better. I have them beating Tennessee week 2. I think Tennessee's going to take a step back, even though I think Derrick Henry will have a great year. I have them losing to the Dolphins week 3. And then I don't have them losing again. I think that they match up really well against the Ravens and the Steelers. I think that Josh Allen's going to get revenge on Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes is, 3-1 against him so far in their careers. I think that Josh Allen's going to make it 3-2. He almost won the AFC Championship game until Mahomes had a miracle drive followed by the coin toss. So I think that he's going to come back and win that game. I think that he'll beat the Packers. I think although Aaron Rodgers is amazing, I think that there's not enough talent on the Packers anymore for them to beat the Bills. The Bills are just too talented of a team. I have them beating the Jets, Vikings, Browns, Lions, Patriots, Jets. The rest of the season after the Packers is just a breeze until the last 2 weeks. They play the Jets twice. They play the Vikings, who Kirk Cousins is the definition of mediocre. They play the Patriots twice, who I think they could split with, but they pretty much dominated us the last 3 years. I think they'll beat the Lions and Browns easily and Bears easily. And then the Bengals are the only other tough game. I think that the Bengals could come away with a victory there. I think it's very possible. Obviously, they made it to the Super Bowl, so I think that they have the ability to beat the Bills. But I just think that if it's a fight for the number 1 seed, and Buffalo needs to get an extra game in there against the Bengals in order to clinch it, I think that they'll clinch it. So those are my AFC East predictions for the 2022 NFL season. Again, I'm going to be doing one of these videos for each of the divisions. So make sure to comment your thoughts down below. Let me know which division you want me to do next. Probably it'll be another AFC division. I think I usually go East, North, West, South. But if you want me to do a different division next, let me know. And I'll probably do one of these a week, maybe once every 6 days. I want to try and finish the last one close to the season. And then I'm probably going to try and do some fantasy football videos and some other videos in between. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.